side of the Trancura, having a humbling moment. It's loud, you can probably hear. I'm sitting on the edge of a big, long Class 4 rapid. Now, I've run some Class 4s before, but today I'm sitting this one out. And it's hard to do, because I'll probably never be back on this river. If I am, it's going to be a while. And I don't want to miss anything. But I'd also like to survive to come back another day. I'll show you the rapid. Easy enough from up here. And it starts to get technical here. Those two rocks at the very end, you can see one has a big pillow, but the big square one on the right doesn't. It's severely undercut. Now if you look just up here, you take a sneak line down into this little pool, then cut into the main current and go right at the rock. But right there where you drop back into the current is boily, frothy water, and if you roll and you don't make it back up right away, the pillow will push you right into the undercut. So although it looks like a fun, long, technical rapid, one key mistake and you're in a world of trouble. So I'm sitting it out. I've made 1 of 3 lines good today, and I've rolled in every major rapid. I don't think it's a good idea. So I'm going to sit here, I'm going to film Chip and Ben and Adam showing me how it's done. Now I get to do the walk of shame. I'm going to trudge off over this way through the jungle and meet up with my friends down in the eddy below. It's never a nice feeling walking a rapid that you think maybe you could run or that you're not sure about, but it's hard to be wise sometimes too. And so I'd rather deal with this disappointment now than the consequences of making a mistake that big later. So I'll talk a little bit more about this when I get back to the hostel, because my friends are waiting for me. So I know I expressed some disappointment today out on the river at the rapid that I walked around. It's a hard decision to make when you're a kayaker, because you really want to run everything, especially if you only have really one chance to do it. But at the same time, you know, you want to live to paddle another day. You don't want to get beat down or hurt or scared or anything like that, right? And so this is kind of a talk about that, because what it takes to make those decisions is wisdom and humility. And this is almost seems like the opposite of what I've been talking about so far. I've been talking about power and commitment and trust and courage, all the things that I would use when I'm running a rapid. So it almost seems like wisdom and humility don't go along with that, because it's the kind of things I would use when I'm sitting out. But in our faith, it's different. God gives us these gifts to help us make decisions about where we're going to get involved and about what we're going to do. There's a sin that goes along with them. It's pride. C.S. Lewis calls pride actually one of the greatest sins, because what pride does is it makes us use our gifts for things besides what God has wanted us to do. It makes us use our gifts for our own selfish gain. I'll give you guys an example. Very shortly after I learned how to play guitar, I really wanted to get up in front of a crowd and lead some music. And rather than waiting for the right opportunity, getting some practice, playing with other musicians, being humble about it, I was proud about it. I wanted to be the guy out front. And so I basically barged my way up front at a retreat, hijacked the campfire, and basically ruined it for everyone, because first of all, I wasn't humble to know that maybe my gifts weren't as good as they should have been, and I wasn't wise enough to see around me that people weren't enjoying what I was doing and people weren't being ministered to by what I was doing. And so with wisdom and humility, what it comes down to is trust. We want to get up in front of the crowd, or we want to be the big shot in ministry, or maybe that's not your personality type, but maybe you want to write the material someone uses, or maybe you want to be the best small group leader ever. These are all great things, and that should motivate us to develop our gifts. But we have to trust God that the right opportunities will come along and that we'll recognize them when we do. Because if we don't use that wisdom and that humility, then the pride creeps in. And instead of taking the opportunities God wants us to have, we make opportunities that we want us to have. And what happens then is we get into trouble. Maybe the trouble is that we're successful and it gets to our head and we stop being a good minister. Maybe the trouble is that we embarrass ourselves in front of a lot of people. I've done that a few times because of pride. You know, in the whitewater world, with too much pride and not enough wisdom, the trouble we get into is that we get hurt. And sometimes others get hurt too because of the decisions that we make. And it's great, you know, it's great to get up in front, it's great to be the superstar, it's great to be the minister making a difference, and it's not wrong to enjoy that feeling. But we have to take that feeling and give it to God, so that we can be humble and that He can give us wisdom to know good decisions to make. Just like for me, it's awesome to make a big drop, and it's fun to brag about it with my friends and get video and pictures, but I can't let that get to my head. I have to know the days when I'm off my game, so I know when to walk the rapids.